Pastor McFarland, go ahead and yeah, there.
Men, welcome to the Southern California Women's Health Conference. You're in the man cave. Yes, it's good to be with you this morning. We're back another year. And I'm telling you, you're in store for a phenomenal day. And it wouldn't be nothing without you men. Wouldn't be anything without these gentlemen that I am about to introduce. And so I'm going to ask you to help me greet and applaud our executive board. I'm going to try to bring them up one at a time. We're going to see how it works on this virtual platform. And that is none other than Mr. Chuck Pulliam. Bring up Chuck. Let's wave at Chuck so we can celebrate Chuck. Yes. My brother. That's Brother Ron right there. Thank you so much, Ron, for all that you do. Next, let's pull up, if we can't pull up Chuck Pulliam, our executive board, Andrew Oliver. Andrew, are you out there? Roll call, executive board. You men have helped make this day a reality. Yes. He's searching for you. We're processing it. I see you, Ron. Yes. Gentlemen, I see you chatting on the. All right, okay. Do we have Mr. Chris Walker? Can we pull up Chris Walker? Well, working on it. He's working on it. All right. About Mr. Roger 10, Black Superman. Dr. Carter, I see you. I see different men coming on. Christopher, I see you. Gentlemen, it's good to see you out there in the audience. All right. So, Brother Ron, Andrew, Chris, Roger. All right. Well, we have tried. I guess he's not seeing you guys out there in the audience. I don't know why, but then you have yours truly, myself. We have a committee. I'll just do a roll call then. And we have Mr. Balam Basalov. God bless you, sir. Mr. Dale Yarbrough. This is our 2021 Man Cave Committee. Phenomenal guys. Mr. Jonathan Kennedy, officer extraordinaire. Mr. Jamal Ellis. Mr. Robert Grant, my brother. And I'm not sure if Reverend Gerard McDaniels was able to make it with us today, but here in the audience again, this is our 2021 Man Cave Committee that has helped make this happen. And the extraordinary Mr. Dr. Paul Price, mighty man of valor. And then we have Mr. Chris Moray, and then none other than Mr. William Sims and Steph Taylor, my man, and then my brother, Chief Bertrell Washington. Yes, you gentlemen are phenomenal. And thank you so much for being a part of making this day a phenomenal day. I see you, Dr. Price. I see you out there. Michael, I see you. I'm just doing a little roll call. I see you guys. Michael Brown, man, I see you guys out there. Man, thank you guys for rolling with us today and making this day a phenomenal day. Jamel, I see you. Cornelius, my man. All right, and this is another phenomenal brother, I'm about to bring up. Brother Grant said, "Can we smoke cigar?" Sir, this is a smoke-free environment, and I hope you have your mask on. We're gonna keep praying for you. It's okay though. I'm with you. All right, gentlemen. Again, welcome to the Man Cave, and I'm honored to have this next phenomenal kingdom man on with us to kick us off with our opening prayer this morning. Pastor Albert Tate. He's the founding pastor of Fellowship Church in Monroe, one of the fastest growing multi-ethnic churches, not in Pasadena, not in the San Gabriel Valley, but in the United States. And I'm glad I'm not a hater, and this is my brother, because I'm just so proud of how God has used him and what he's doing in ministry. He began in ministry pastoring just a few families at Sweet Home Church in Mississippi. Watch out, we got some things in common, before serving the historic Lake Avenue Church in Pasadena. And so hearing the call of God, I know what that's like, to plant a church. Brother Albert and his wife, La Rosa, launched Fellowship Monrovia in January 2012. And it's short history. You know, this gospel-centered, multi-ethnic, intergenerational church has already established a foothold in the region for life transformation to the glory and honor of God. And so my brother, man, he is an illustrator of God's amazing grace when he preaches. There's love. He has a phenomenal academic background, and so with that, and just all the things that God is using him to do, please, man, help me welcome to this man cave the gifted, anointed Albert Tate, my brother.
Well, Pastor McFarland, that's probably one of the best introductions I ever had. I'm gonna record that and send that to my mama. I thought somebody else was coming out. I tell you, this is one of the best virtual events I went to. You know, y'all gotta. I got started off. I didn't know the rules, so man, I ended up over there at the bar with Robert Grant drinking tequila. And we had fired up some cigars before somebody came and told us to put them out. So we had to leave the bar and had to get right. So now y'all preachers y'all Christian leaders don't hate on the brother. You know, it's right. It's early, but it's been a long week. It's been a long week. So Robert led me astray, but I'm gonna get myself back together.
Hey, to reel you back in.
I'm gonna reel back in. I'm gonna be ready for this prayer, man. But I'm honored to be here. Our dear sister Lena Kennedy and her vision, and the team, the committee that orchestrated this opportunity, and I think the best part of the day is the short rib I'm gonna be eating here after a little bit. So I just love what God's gonna do, and I'm just gonna pray God's blessing, and I'm gonna ask God to bless us, but I'm also gonna ask God to bless the food, because I ain't gonna lie, I done already opened up a cookie and some milk. I done already got started. So I'm gonna open us up in a word of prayer and pray God's blessing over us. God, thank you so much for your goodness, for your kindness. Thank you for this vision that have gathered men together to dig deeply in what it is to be who you've created us to be, and that's men. Father, we thank you for manhood. We thank you that you divinely designed a vision and a picture of what family is, Father. And I just pray that every man in this space would feel the sparks today, the sparks that happens when iron sharpens iron. When we come together and we get in close proximity and we begin to open up our hearts and share burdens, there's a sharpening that happens, and there are sparks that fly, because the iron is sharpening iron. So may we be refined by one another. May we be sharpened by one another. May we be challenged by one another. Most of all, Father, may we be better from the examples and from the words and from the inspiration and from the challenges that we experience with one another. God, we give a shout out to the ladies. We thank you, God, for the women and the work that you're doing in their lives. May we be servants May we learn to serve them better, love them better, care for them better. May our being better men help them become better women, and may them being better women help us become better men. So Father, would you meet us today? May we be sharpened today. Bless our food, bless our time, bless our conversation. And we just thank you, Lord. We thank you for the vision, and we pray that this will be multiplied and increased for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. God bless you guys. Headed back over to the bar. I'll be over there with Robert. Let's go.
Brother Ron Carter.
Can you hear me? No, I'm still got my mic. Oh, there he is. Yes, sir. Pastor McFarland, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. All the men are watching you.
No, okay. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for being here this morning. My name is Ron Carter, and I'm the host of the 2021 Man Cave Conference. On behalf of Ms. Lena Kennedy, who is the founder of the Southern California Women's Conference, and Charles Pullum, our director of the 2021 Man Cave Conference, and the men who were introduced to you earlier, they are all men of our advisory committee. I welcome you to the 2021 Man Cave Conference. We are related that you chose to spend part of your day with us. It has been stated that men, especially African American men, don't discuss their health challenges. Here at the Man Cave, we're changing that narrative. We have some great speakers and panel discussions slated for you today. We hope that the information you receive today will assist you as you make your medical and civic decisions. Enjoy the conference, and we hope you to join us next year as we continue to grow the Man Cave Conference. Thank you.
All right, let me jump back in here. Thank you, Brother Ron. So with that, men, our aim today, as Brother Ron touched on, is to both encourage and motivate you to focus on, hey, man, your health, our health matters, both physical, emotional, and mental. Our health matters, guys. And so, to inspire others, our objective is to inspire others to change how they feel about themselves and their bodies, and to own you. And truth be told, men are assailed by the diseases that can affect anyone: heart disease, stroke, diabetes, cancer, depression. But they also have unique issues such as prostate cancer. Hey, it is what it is. And benign prostate enlargement. And this is our time to come together to hear from professionals, engage in forums throughout the day that gives us an opportunity to be real, transparent, while respecting others, others' opinions, yet be open to change, while, as Pastor Tate said, iron sharpens iron. I don't know a better form side of the Mississippi right now today that we have as brothers across this landscape to come together and, man, empower each other. I'm excited about this day. Here's a wisdom nugget for you, brothers. If you elevate your thinking, hear me, switch on your brain, you'll elevate your health. And so I hope you're ready for the virtual conference of the year, which has been produced by a phenomenal visionary political advisor to local and presidential leaders and community leaders at large, Miss Lena Kennedy, the Southern California Women's Health Conference, Man, let's go. Again, can we just give a big applause at your table? Men can see each other. Give Sister Lena a big applause for her consistency and the legacy that she's leaving and the impact that she's making here and around the world. You know, our board and committee so appreciates you being here to make this day a special day. Man, it's time. We're getting ready to get into this. You know, we're bringing you some of the best speakers, both locally and nationwide, to share with us and, talk about, things that we need to talk about that oftentimes are not talked about. And man, the lunchtime panel, man, the lunch, the social, man, that panel, the social that panel is going to be bananas, man. That panel I believe, is going to rock this virtual platform, and it's going to be brother Jonathan Kennedy. And I'm telling you, you're in store for a blessing today. Listen, the VIP lounge is open all day. We have a vendor's room. Look at this floor plan. If you look at the floor plan over to your left, you'll click on a button there if you can't already see it. And maybe you can see it. I'm from the stage looking at you guys, but you'll see these floors. Level 1 and 2 is designated for the man cave. And then all those floors above are the women's floors. So the men are on 1 and 2. And when we overflow in here, we'll go to floor 2. And then from there, 3 and up is where the women are having their conference and their workshops and everything that's going on over there. And then if you look over to the center, and I hope I have this right, and my team correct me if I'm a little off here. Towards your center at the top, there'll be a button with an arrow, and you can click on you'll be able to click on the vendor's room. You'll be able to click on the social injustice panel discussion that's going to happen today, to go over to that room. So we'll give you more instructions about that later on. But this virtual platform is phenomenal. It's just like being at the LA Convention Center or the Texas Convention Center, Atlanta Convention Center, where there's just all of these floors and space. And so with that being said, our production support today is Jamel, and he's back with us again this year, as I'm honored to be back with you men again. And those of you who don't know me, well, didn't get a chance to, tell you a little bit about me, but that's not important. I'm your host for today, and I'm honored. It's a blessing to be a part of this Man Cave, the Southern California Women's Health Conference, which has produced this platform for men to come together. So we have a few highlights. Men, I know a lot of my guys and a lot of the speakers, Pastor Tate, we have this bag. It is hot. It is hot. Swag bag for everybody that registered. For those who registered early, let's see what's in our swag bag. Oh man, look at there. Pastor Tate, that other brother over there at that bar with you, that's a little swig bottle right there for you. Oh man, we have some phenomenal things in here. We have in this bag, oh my goodness, how many of you know it's not good to smell? So I guess they figured men need a little help to make sure that they're not stinky. We don't like stinky man. Great gifts in here. Man, here's another one from Herbalife. Oh man, this is a bag. They got some other gifts and items in that bag, within the bag. Man, keychains. I mean, some exciting, some good stuff. Watch this. And you're going to know you've been at the Man Cave. Why? Because you have it right here, the Man Cave block. Man, just a lot of great gifts on the inside of here. Phenomenal. If you're not ready for 2022, we made sure that you're ready for 2022 with a set a goal, focus on it. Again, this is from Herbalife, calendar and agenda to prepare for the next season. Praise God. Again, just a lot of great gift items in here. I'm not going to pull everything out the bag, but there's bags within bags in here and gifts, and there's snacks and, man, all kind of stuff. So check your bags out. Men, I want to encourage you that if you got in on the VIP registration, connect with the brother that invited you, that you were registered under. They have your bags. Get your bags. If you're out of state, amen, send them some money and they'll ship it to you. But anyway, we have some phenomenal things in here for you. And let's not forget the exquisite lunch that's being sponsored by the Southern California Women's Health Conference. And I mean, the bag is like, I'll show that to you later. And I'm looking forward. I'm like Pastor Tate, man. The meal selection was phenomenal. Give me can you guys agree with that meal selection just being phenomenal? Let's see here what they're telling me here. This is my guy. All right. So if you look in your general chat box over to the right, my production assistant, my main man today that's helping us has given some instructions right there. And I'm assuming everybody can see that. It's from Jamel. And so it shows you how to move around. You can click tape. Don't let Brother Robert Grant take you over to the bar and cigars and have a little tequila. Don't let him influence you. But you can click on another brother and say, hey, meet me over at the bar, meet me over at this cocktail table, so that you guys can chop it up in between sessions, that sort of thing. This virtual platform is phenomenal. You can do everything that you would do at a regular conference on this platform. So yeah, so check that out. Check that out. I'm going to ask our production team right now. We want to acknowledge our sponsors at this time. And so pop up our list of sponsors, if you will, on the screen so that we can just thank all of our sponsors this year who have helped make this a reality, this year's health conference a reality. Methodist Hospital, Aon. I mean, we have a lot of sponsors who have helped make this happen, as well as, again, I want to thank even our committee, our executive team who has sown into this vision. You know, we're all encouraged ourselves to sow into the vision to help make it happen. With that, are you guys ready? I got a surprise for you. So if you're not getting a polo shirt today or a swag bag, here's an opportunity for you to win some prizes. So I have this phenomenal, fresh and clean, vintage, Man Cave t-shirts. So we got a few of these in some different sizes, and we're gonna give them out. I'm not gonna give them out. There's gonna be a Q&A game, and if whoever pops in the right answer in the box first, which Jamil or one of our committee members are going to monitor that for me, Brother Ron Carter, and see who pops in the answers first, then you're going to win a t-shirt. Simple as that. So I'm gonna give it a quick test before we play this 90-second promo and get into our first session here. So, for example, all right, let's see how you guys do on this. These are all health Q&As, by the way. How many calories are in a cup of raw vegetables? How many calories are in a cup of raw vegetables? Pop your answer in. Here's another one. As you're thinking, again, whoever pops in the correct answer first, you're the winner, and I'll announce it after our first workshop. Now, men, this is a good one. Flexibility is enhanced by the daily performance of what? Flexibility is enhanced, come on, by the daily performance of what? Pop it in the side, and we're going to see who got it right, who thinks they know what's right, the right answer is, and who got it right. So with that, hey, check out, this promo before we go into our first workshop. Let's be active for health for everybody. Take it away, team. All right, let's play the promo. Was I on mute this whole time? I hope I wasn't on mute this whole time. No, I wasn't on mute. I'm mute. Thank you, Ingerson. Oh, so the promo played? Dr. Price, you're saying the promo played? Oh, I didn't. Did it play? All right. Well, with that, hope you got a little something out of that. Are you ready for our first Man Cave workshop? I've been trying to get this brother on this platform for, I think this be about almost 2 years. So we're here now, excited to have him, Mr. Butch Grimes, and he is going to talk to us about, as a pastor, this is something that I see because I deal with so many people and families, and the different things that they're faced with. He's going to address Alzheimer, recognizing signs of Alzheimer. And so Mr.
Butch is a seasoned real estate broker with more than 36 years of experience,
specializing in probate and conservatorships, trusts, receiverships, and partition matters as a referee, my man, a man of many hats. But his biggest challenge has been, hear this, taking care of his mom with dementia. Butch has been through many phases of the disease with his mother and has been able to share his story with others that may be faced with care for
the dementia, Alzheimer's. team's efforts by creating a 501c3 nonprofit called focusing on Alzheimer's, dementia, outreach and education. So coupled with a special Christmas program called Elves for Alzheimer's, which provides undeserved Alzheimer's sufferers with daily essentials. Phenomenal. Since inception, Butch and his team have provided over, hear this, 40,000 briefs, toiletries, and essentials to facilities in Southern California and Inglewood. Gloria Grimes, Resource Community Center, and Alzheimer's Digest newspaper are his latest accomplishments. And so Butch and his team were named Heroes of the Week by KNX, CBS, for their heroic activity. Men, help me welcome the extraordinary Butch Grimes Jr.
Pastor McFarland, I couldn't have asked for a better presentation, and I tell you, you did the majority of my presentation, so I guess I can just sit back and enjoy everyone else. I really want to thank you. I want to thank the committee. Pastor, I want to really thank you too, because I know we've been going back and forth, making sure that we do the right things and get everything together. And you've just been phenomenal through every step. And I want to thank you for that. Lena Kennedy, I just honored. I mean, when I was asked to speak, I was really honored because I'm very passionate about this subject. And as we get into it, you'll see why. Because it's a subject that not only has affected me, but 6.2 million Americans around this country. And I'm sure people in this audience, everybody at least knows somebody that's dealing with Alzheimer's. You know, I was sitting there, I was laughing because I see a lot of my old friends in the audience and on the chat. And one in particular, and I want to say hello to Ron Carter and Kelvin Tolbert, but there's a gentleman out here that was my mentor, believe it or not. And I heard you call his name. I had to hit him in the chat and say, "Is this he?" It was Dr. Price.
Yeah, the
Paul
phenomenal.
Price and I were suite mates at the University of Redlands, and we were teammates.
What? Hey man, I'm glad I didn't say nothing crazy about you in our meetings.
And I hadn't seen Dr. Price in a long time, and it is so great to see him online. Well, you know, I know we're all zoomed out, and I know that you know, during COVID with isolation and everything else, that folks are just saying, "Hey, I'm tired of presentations. I'm tired of PowerPoints." But I thought it was imperative that I brought you something other than just looking at me and my gecko on the wall in the back. So I did a short presentation, but what I want to do is just touch on a few things. And I know Pastor McFarland did a lot of it for me. But what I'm going to do is I want to bring up a couple slides real quick, and I want to go through these because I think it's going to be very important in understanding where we're going to go with this. 1 second. I hope everybody can see it. And bam. Okay, I hope everyone can see that. So today, I want to take you on a journey. And you're going to be on a journey with me because this is what I was dealing with when I was dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia with my mother. It is truly a journey, and it's a journey that I don't wish upon anyone. But I think at the same time, if we're going to make that journey, we have to make it together because this is truly a team sport. It's hand to hand. We got to be together to get through it. And some of the things I'm going to talk about today, I want to talk about our nonprofit, who's going to take care of me. We're 501c3 with an emphasis on Alzheimer's and dementia. Well, talk about who I am. I know, Pastor McFarland did give me the introduction, but I want to tell you a little bit about me. I'm a father. I'm a brother. I'm a son. I'm an uncle. I'm a friend. I'm a boyfriend. I had to put that in there because I know my girlfriend will be all over me. I'm a business owner. I'm a caregiver. And I'm an advocate. But one thing I want to tell you is that I'm no different than each and every one of you. Because all of the things that I've just described, there's somebody out there in that audience that fits the same criteria that I fit. And as we go through this journey, you'll start understanding that we all look the same when we're faced in this situation. Who's going to take care of me? Well, where did this come from? Who's going to take care of me? Basically, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. I started based on my mother. I named it after my mother, the Gloria Grimes Community Resource Center in Inglewood, California. You can see it on the picture there. And why did I do that? Because in the African-American community, there are no resource centers. We have no place where we can actually go, pick up literature, talk to somebody who's faced the disease, and get some counseling. The Alzheimer's Association are two associations now. Most people don't know that. There's Alzheimer's LA, and then there's the large Alzheimer's Association out of Chicago, but they're in Beverly Hills. So I decided, I needed to do something for my community because I know what I went through as a caregiver for my mother. It was a daunting task. It was really tough. It was tough because I didn't have anybody to turn to. I didn't really know anybody because I didn't think about it at that time. I mean, when I was dealing with it, it was just OJT. Let me jump and let me get it done. Another thing that I realized is our education and information is limited. You may hear an article, you may see an article, you may hear something on the news, and it heightens awareness. But in the African-American community, we're really limited on information that goes out. So I decided to do a newspaper. It's called the Alzheimer's Digest newspaper. Everybody told me I was crazy. They said, why would you start a newspaper in this day and time? Because newspapers are obsolete. The LA Times is struggling. I said, but the difference is seniors still read newspapers. They like to sit up with their coffee and tea and read a newspaper. So I started the Alzheimer's Digest so that we could reach a greater audience. We could cast a bigger net to get a bigger catch and be able to educate more of our people on the disease. So we have professionals that write articles for our newspaper, and we disseminate that. And those professionals look just like the audience that we're going after, our demographics. And then in addition to that, one day I went to see my mom at her facility after I moved her out with me and placed her in a facility. And I went in one day and there was a little lady in there. She was just as cute as could be. She was walking around and she had duct tape on her shoes. She had some flip-flops, she had duct tape, and I kept saying, why does that lady have flip-flops? I mean, why does she have duct tape? And the caregivers there at the facility said, well, we've been trying to reach her son for almost 3 months, and he hasn't responded, and these are the only shoes she has. So immediately I went out and I bought the lady 3 pairs of shoes. But when I came back, I gave her the shoes, and she looked at me and she said, for me? I said, yes, for you. And I put them on the ground. She put her feet up in them, and she literally started crying, and she hugged me and said, I love you. Well, you're talking about, melt. I melted right there in her arms. So after that, I started looking at more and more facilities. I would go around and I would visit, and I was even looking at my mother's facilities, because where my mother was, I would bring almost a case of diapers every couple of weeks. And they would always tell me, well, your mom is out the 2 weeks later. And I say, well, what? Why? And they said, oh, we've been going through them quite a bit. It wasn't that they were going through my depends. It was that other people in their families weren't supplying their loved ones with enough depends for them to manage. That's why when you go in facilities, sometimes they smell so bad, because folks are sitting in their feces all day because they don't have enough diapers. So as I did that, we created a program called L's for Alzheimer's, where we actually visit 3 facilities every Christmas. We have a party bus. We normally have a big party. Of course, COVID has curtailed that. And we started out with the first 3 facilities, and 4 years later, we're up to about close to 25,000 depends and toiletries and so on that these folks need at these facilities, and we choose them randomly throughout the year. Well, again, thinking ahead and really trying to do more for the African American community and the Latino community as well, I decided to put together a podcast called The Journey. And we're on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire, and we're also on an iOS and Android app. So as we try to provide more support for our men's support groups and to do more outreach, I'm just trying to create as many vehicles as I can so that we can get the word out. So we also are on Alexa. We have an Alexa skill, and it's called the Alzheimer's Moment. They're little small vignettes where you can get information about Alzheimer's. I don't want to say it too loud because I know my Alexa is going to pop on and say something. But the main thing is that I want to say we're in the community. That's the key. More than anything else, of all the things we've done, we're in the community. And as Pastor McFarland mentioned, we were also named by CBS and KNX Heroes of the Week. But let's take this journey. Let's get on with this journey, because it's an interesting situation when it's a little different when you're a man taking care of a woman, but also a little different when it's a man taking care of their mother. Alzheimer's touches everyone. And I know it's touched people in this room. And I know folks understand, and they touched it and they've seen it. But it's a disease that's not being talked about in our community enough. And believe it or not, we can talk about recognizing the early signs of Alzheimer's, but it can be difficult. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because I didn't realize my mother was suffering with dementia. My brother did. And my brother's in Texas. He's thousands of miles away. And I saw my mother every day. My mother and my aunt lived right next to each other. We would all communicate regularly. But we're going about our lives every day, moving around, working, traveling, doing whatever. And I was so close to it, I didn't really recognize the signs. And my brother, because of conversations with my mother, started realizing, something's not right. Have you talked to her about this? And I said, no. But then when my mother started acting a little more squirrely and doing things, then it heightened my awareness. So let's talk a little bit about Alzheimer's. That's what we're here today. I want to just give you a little disclaimer. I'm not going to be able to give you everything in this presentation because it's a lot. It's a lot because you're going to get enough to at least understand it and understand that we need more intervention and we need more education. But everybody's going to be different. So some of the things that I'm going to tell you today may not be clear for maybe your loved one or loved ones around you. But the key thing is we want to keep our loved ones safe from themselves and from others. So what is Alzheimer's? It's a disease. It's a disease that attacks the brain. There are abnormal proteins that affect memory. And I don't want to get into the taus and the amyloid plaques and all of that because I'm not a doctor. And we would have to have somebody to really go a little deeper so you can understand what that means. But it's a brain disease. And that protein goes throughout the brain and hardens, and it affects the brain. And that's where different areas of our mobility, our daily lives are affected. And it progressively gets worse over time. But it's amazing because I think when I was dealing with it with my mom, once I realized what I was dealing with, I saw the progression quickly. And I'll tell you, the one moment that was probably the toughest moment for me was when I took her to the doctor and with the neurologist, and he asked her some basic questions like, what year is it? And my mother she was a firecracker anyway. Wonderful woman. She was something else. But she had that personality that she could win you over immediately. And she was still, even as she was fighting with Alzheimer's, she was still portraying that even with the doctor. So when he would ask basic questions, she couldn't answer. And it really just floored me. I was dumbfounded because I couldn't believe it, because I had never seen this before. But I remember him turning to me during this session, and my mom was sitting there and I was looking at both of them. And he said, Mr. Grimes, your mother is very healthy and she's probably going to live a long time. He said, so I think you need to get ready. It's going to be a long road. Now, what did that mean? I didn't really know what I was up against, but I can tell you a little bit about it today. Dementia is an umbrella term. Most people think Alzheimer's is the big kahuna, but it's not. Alzheimer's is a part of the dementias. There are a number of dementias, and you probably heard a few: Parkinson's, Lewy bodies, vascular dementia, and so on. But the one thing I want to leave you with that you really have to realize is there is no cure. There is no cure for dementia. So just to clear it up, when people talk about Alzheimer's, Alzheimer's is not the biggie. Dementia is. It's just that between 60 to 80% of folks that suffer from dementia, Alzheimer's is the one that they suffer from. And it's growing every day. So I want to give you a couple of statistics. I don't want to bore you with a lot of statistics today. I really want to give you some of the things that I know I dealt with. But 6.2 million people 65 years and older have dementia. By 2050, 13 million people are projected to have dementia. And 2/3 of the 6.2 million people are women. Did you hear that, men? 2/3 of the 6.2 million are women. What does that tell you? That tells you that we got to be ready, because we have women in our lives and we have to make sure we're ready to take care of them. Because guess what? You know, that's not what we do. That's not what we're accustomed to doing. We don't train for that. We don't have those instincts of changing the baby's diaper and caring for them. We're the breadwinners, the tough ones. We, played football and we protect our family. But now, 2/3 of the 6.2 people are women. We have to change our role now. African Americans are 2 times more likely to die from Alzheimer's than our white counterparts. And when I talk to you today, I'm talking to you with 2 different hats. I'm going to be going through this to talk to you about to protect yourself and to take care of yourself so that hopefully you don't end up with dementia. But I'm also going to take that hat off and put another hat on and just talk a little bit about being that caregiver for those 2/3 of the women that have that disease. So why are African Americans disproportionately affected with Alzheimer's? Especially men. And I'll tell you, we don't know. I talked to so many professionals in the industry, and they'll all say the same thing. We don't know because we don't have the studies. We don't have the statistics. Why? Because we don't participate in the research studies. Think about COVID-19. We're going through this pandemic. How many of you in here participated in the COVID-19 vaccination studies? I don't know but one, and they don't look like me. There's a mistrust, of course, of the medical community, same as what we've been dealing with this, the shot, is the Tuskegee study. And researchers are not actively recruiting people of color. They're not actively recruiting, but also we don't know where to go. Most times when you talk to African-American men and we'll say, hey, I know they did a survey and they said, would you like to participate in a study? And they said, well, sure, I would love to. And they said, well, you've never done it? He said, no, nobody's asked me. Because nobody's asked. Nobody's asked us to be a part of this study. All the statistics that we're going off of right now are all from our white counterparts. And of course, there's a stigma associated with saying you have a problem. We have a problem. Well, most people don't want to talk about it because it's kind of taboo, especially, and it becomes cultural. So with my hat on to protect you and to help you, what are the risk factors for Alzheimer's? All of those classic things that we hear when we go to the doctor. This is why some of us don't go. Heart disease, cardiovascular disease, pulmonary issues, hardening of the arteries, obesity, alcoholism, depression, smoking. And think about it, stress. So if we're dealing with that right now, and you're talking about Alzheimer's, and you're dealing now, if I take put the caregiver hat on, we got stress. All of those things are factors that we're going to deal with. But there's a way for us to lower our risk. Diet. And I know when you go to the doctor, what do they tell you? Oh, you're putting on a little weight, you need to watch it. Exercise. That treadmill I know at home has got clothes on it. It's got a hanger on it. It's got that shirt and those pants, but it's not getting used. You got to use it. Nutritional supplements. Manage your stress, because we have to manage. You don't realize how much stress has effect on us. And control your blood pressure and control your diabetes if you have it. But whatever you have, control it. Do what your doctor says so that you can be with us, because guess what? 2/3 of those 6.2 are women. We got to take care of them. So there's key points in this journey. We have to pay close attention because, as I mentioned before, sometimes we can be too close. And then sometimes we're just in denial. And we're suffering in silence because a lot of times we don't talk about it. And that was the one beautiful thing about a couple of years ago when I was at the Man Cave and physically there. I was so impressed because men were talking about issues that they normally do not talk about openly. And that's the problem with dementia. The cultures, they don't want to talk about that. The African American communities, the Latino communities. What happens? Oh, how's your aunt? Oh, she's in the back room. Oh, where's your grandmother? Oh, she's in the back. They don't want to say, she's got a little dementia. She's in the back because that's where they put them. They stick them in the back room. Focus on caregivers. We have to start thinking more about our caregivers because we are becoming caregivers. I can't stress more every time I talk about those 2/3. We as men now are becoming caregivers. And one thing I want to tell you, your circle will get smaller. I don't care what it is. It's just something about it. It's the stigma that goes with it. When people hear that someone has dementia, the circle gets smaller quickly. So let's have a real conversation. Let's talk off the record. I really want to just talk about what it takes and what we have to do as caregivers. I'm trying to get back. Okay, there we go. Let's just talk off the record. I want to just talk openly because, see, I just gave you a little snapshot of what we're going to deal with as caregivers potentially if we have to take care of any of those 2/3 of women that are out there. I always said, I would tell people, and don't take this wrong. It's a bad statement, but I'm gonna make it anyway. When I was dealing with my mother, I can remember it's a 24-hour-a-day job, and unfortunately, one person cannot take care of one person 24 hours a day. You have to have a break. You have to have some time to de-stress yourself. And because of that, I can remember the one thing that really kicked it in, even when, I thought, oh, it's going to be all right, not even knowing what I was getting ready to get into, is when she was at my house. I had to bring her home because she was going out late at night, standing outside at 3 a.m, 2 a.m. My aunt would call me. My mother was seeing ghosts in her car. Her car was never outside, but she saw a ghost in the car. Wow. But one morning, about 3 a.m, I heard her shaking the door in my bedroom. And I got up and I said, hey, what's going on? And I came in there and she shook the door again. And what happened? She said, I need to go to the bathroom. And she thought it was a bathroom door and it was the closet door. And I said, no, the bathroom's here. So I said, come on, go with me. But by then, she had already used the bathroom right there on the floor. 2.3, 6.2. Think about it. I'm a man taking care of my mother. This kicks you in real fast at 3 o'clock in the morning because how do I change my mother's underwear?
Powerful. That's real.
How do I change my mother's underwear at 3 o'clock in the morning when she has used the bathroom on herself? Now, I was going to tell this bad joke because, we're in the man cave. I can say this. I can get any other woman's underwear off in about 1.2 seconds. But my mother,
whole nother ball game.
My mother,
yeah,
I couldn't do it. I was devastated. And all I can do is this is when you say, I got to step it up.
Yes.
This is when I had to step it up and make it happen. So I did. And by doing that, it gave me that opportunity to say, okay, you know what? All the gloves are off now. I got to do this and I got to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And from that point, that's what got me to this point today as a caregiver. And the main thing I want to tell each and every man out there is don't hold it in. You got to get it out. You got to communicate with other people. You got to let people know that you're suffering, because caregivers suffer inside.
That's right.
And the issue is sometimes the caregiver goes before the care.
You know, you said a mouthful there, brother. Yes.
So I just want to say to each and every man out there that there are a couple of things that you need to be conscious of. You know, there's some big challenges as a caregiver, and I know I'm not going to be able to go through all of them today. But remember one thing, your loved one that maybe you're going to be caring for is not always that person that was there before. That's the disease. People sometimes go into denial and they leave their parents alone. See, when I hear somebody say, my mom has dementia, I go into heightened awareness and immediately shut everything down. You got to dementiarize your home. What does that mean? Dementiarize your home means you need to remove the liquids. You need to lock some of the cabinets. You need to make sure all of those things are taken care of, because they can be fatal. Quick story. Gave my mom a lot of latitude with going to the bathroom once I got her going. And one night she went to the restroom and she was in there, it was quiet. And I said, "You all right?" She said, "Yeah." And again, this is a 2:30 in the morning episode. I don't know what it is about it, but early morning is just, that's why I said one person can't do it. So I said, "You sure you're all right?" She said, "Yeah." And then I waited about another minute and I said, something doesn't feel right. So I went and I cracked the door just a little because I wanted to give her that privacy. But then I cracked the door and I said, "Oh my God." And I looked and she had the rubbing alcohol bottle and was getting ready to drink it. And I said, no. And I grabbed it. I said, "You can't drink that." She said, "I'm thirsty. I want some water." Why? Because she had gone in the cabinet, gotten the alcohol bottle, and was about to drink it. Dementiarize your home. Hide your knives. Lock things up. If people are leaving their parents at home by themselves when they have dementia, which is a no-no, but they still do it because 40% of caregivers are men and 80% of them have jobs. So guess what? They got to go to work, but they think it's all right. Oh, she stays in the house. She's not going to do anything, but she is. That's why folks burn down their homes. That's why people have problems, because they turn the gas on thinking they're cooking and forget they left something in the stove, and maybe the gas flame didn't come on, but the gas did. All of these things are situations that we have to be conscious about, and we have to be vigilant about, because our biggest goal is to make sure we keep our loved ones safe. And we also have to protect and keep ourselves safe, because we're going to need it. We're going to need it. And I want to leave you with this point. Seniors cannot take care of seniors. I know I hear it all the time. "Oh yeah, my 85-year-old aunt is taking care of my 92-year-old mother." Come on, folks. That's not going to happen, because what if one falls? Both going to fall. Who's going to pick the other ones up? And I tell people that, and they look at it and go, oh, but they're going to be all right. They're there by themselves. It doesn't work that way. So like I said, I can't give it all to you today, but I hope I gave you enough to start thinking about things that we need to do to keep our loved ones safe. And
Very
as a
good.
male, you really have to bone up on all of these different issues so that we can deal with those childlike symptoms. Because I've had men actually tell me they've been married for 30 years and their wives get dementia, and they've walked off and left. And they said,
Wow.
I didn't sign up for this.
Wow.
And do you know how powerful that is? It hits you right in the gut. You go, you're kidding me. You're going to leave your wife? And I've had a men's group. I had 25 men here in my office. And I don't think we had a dry eye in the entire group. The entire group, because when they started telling those stories, it's like being in the man cave. It was so powerful and overwhelming. They could share with other men that were dealing with the same problem. So all I want to say today, and I hope some of these tidbits were valuable for you, is that share. Don't hold it in. Reduce your stress and ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help.
Thank you so much, Brother Butch. We want to open the floor up. We only have 10 minutes left, 9 minutes left or so. We want to open the floor up. You know, as you were sharing, you know, it came to me, you know, when you talked about how your mother was starting to deal with the symptoms, but you couldn't see it. And that's oftentimes due to, it's the same thing a little bit differently with my mom, who transitioned 3 years ago. When someone is so close to you, we're not conscious of it, but there's a thing called a spirit of familiarity that creeps in, and it actually prevents us from being in tune to where the individuals that we live with, where they're at presently. It happens with parents and their children, because you're locked into seeing those individuals the way you've always seen them, as being healthy, strong, vibrant. You know, they're okay. They're just, you know, going through something versus really paying attention. I love what Brother Terry Allen said. He gave you a big amen. And he said, we are more susceptible to dementia due to our diets, combined with, you know, a 400-year-old historical trauma called systemic racism. And then Dr. Price, he asked the question, where can men get support? Dr. Price, if you guys in general, there's a website called verywellhealth.com. And maybe Butch, you can answer this, and we'll take 2 or 3 men's questions for you. But it's called verywellhealth.com. And they have 7 caregiver support groups, and they're caregiver support groups. It's a caregiver action network, and I believe it's supported by the Alzheimer's Foundation of America. But you can go there to receive some of the help and support. Great question you posed there. Men, any questions? Chester A. Grain, if we can pull up some men right now that have questions, raise your hand. Let's talk. We can take probably 2. Chester A. Grain III said, I, as an EMT, I am very familiar with all you have. I've had with and change a patient. He said he loved your presentation. Dr. Price asked, was the information you shared in your newspaper? Is it on your website?
Yes. Yeah. You know, one thing I didn't mention, and that was the bullet point I did want to talk about, because when we talk about these presentations, most people want to hear about Alzheimer's or dementia. But one thing I want to just say, 2 caveats. Handle your business early, have a living trust, Make sure you have that POA, because the point of the POA is only as good as the person's living, but that living trust will help you to stay out of probate. And the other thing is that, yes, care is expensive, and you have to plan for it, and you need to have those conversations with your family. So often we don't have those conversations. Fortunately, I did. That way you know where everything is and you can handle it accordingly. Because caring for an Alzheimer's patient, I'll share it. I have no problem. My mother is in a private facility. It's a Title 22 with five rooms. I pay $7,000 a month. That is not with insurance. So it is not, and it's for my mother. I want the best. So whatever it's going to take, I'm going to do it.
That's awesome.
Does insurance
That's awesome.
play
We
a
have
role
Dr.
at
Price
all?
on.
I'm sorry?
Does insurance play a role at all?
Well, if you have long-term insurance,
I can answer that. Yes, it does. Yeah.
if you have, especially if you have long-term insurance, I highly recommend, but unfortunately, a lot of the policies are so limited now, but you should look into it. Definitely.
Yeah, I want to give a definite yes to that. Mother Brother Terry, he, pointed to, health and diet and really information. There's a reason why coronavirus hit African Americans especially hard, and
Uh-oh.
promote wellness. And so I recently joined the worldwide financial health literacy campaign to educate people to end financial disparities, both locally and globally, as it pertains to finances as well as health. And long-term health care is something that you can have added to your policy, your life insurance policy, specific products that are out there, even if you have Medicare. So anything else, Dr. Price? And then we'll go to Brother Terry.
Let's go to Brother Terry.
Okay, well, thank you for this most important message. And Brother Butch, I've also notified the world record. Did you hold the world record for removing underwear? I thought I held it. It was 3 seconds for me, but you got 1.2. We got you.
Those are not the kind of records we're talking about.
I'm at that. But here's one thing I want to know is how are we going to collectively do this? This doesn't just happen in LA County or San Francisco or Chicago. It's happening everything. We need to capture and control our narrative. One of the things that I've done, and I don't know if I need your advice if that's good. We have obituary parties on Memorial Day. So everybody brings an obituary of someone who's famous, someone that was influential in their life. It was an uncle, aunt, and we talk about it. We have food. But at the end of the day, I pass out a 4-page document that says, while I have your attention, this is what I need to know. What do you want done with you when you are you can't talk, you can't speak, or you're dying? Do you want rehabilitation? So it turns into a positive party. I always end up with 40 booklets, but then after it's over, I get a request for another 120. Because I tell people, one of the things I open up with is when you die and someone walks into your house and I'm in charge of your will, and they says he wanted me to have that, I'm going to say, well, he didn't tell me. So I want people to talk about how we care for Alzheimer's, how we care for our elders, and we need to have some end-of-life wills, bequests, wealth transfer conversations in a positive way so that we can control not just Alzheimer's, but the transfer of our wealth and our health. Is that the obit parties have worked for me? Is there other ways to do it? I do think that the male ministries and churches also need to step up. What are your thoughts?
Well, I totally agree with you because I think we need to come together, and especially with the churches, and we need to be able to reach our congregations because a lot of them have their aging congregations.
Yeah.
And those seniors need to know more about it, and that's why I do stress they need to take care of their business. I mean, I see folks come into my center regularly that say, well, my mother or my father's been diagnosed with dementia, but by then it's too late because now you can't have her sign any documents. So you need to do it early, and we need to get that information out. And because we're not reaching out as much as we should, people are still behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
So we do have to come together, and this is a great gathering. We need to take that and branch out like an octopus so we can do more of this.
That's awesome. Ron Carter put it up. Brother Terry, you spoke to, in terms of doing things before our loved ones, get in that position, or you get in that position. And that's actually, you need to have a power of attorney. Again, when you do a will, a trust, you have your power of attorney, executive, all of those things. And I'm personally, again, a part of this campaign that we're doing. In 2 weeks, actually, we start hosting platforms and forums to discuss these things, specifically educating, our circles and networks on it. I love what Brother Dr. Carter also said. AARP also has a great program for caregivers. So, you can go to their website for that information. Brother Butch, this has been great. It's, as you said, it's a topic that oftentimes is not talked about within our circles. So, men, let's give Brother Butch a big God bless you. Connect with him. And again, I want to remind you,
Butch.
I love it, Brother Butch. All you have to do is ask Alexa, open Alzheimer's Moment, or Alexa, start Alzheimer's Moment, or Alexa, launch Alzheimer's Moment, and you'll be directly connected to Brother Butch. I want to collard greens, spinach, Swiss leeks, high in essential B vitamins like folate and B9. They can help reduce depression. So, men, let's get in our berries, our nuts, our omega-3s, spices, turmeric. They are Indian spices that are very good for the brain. So with that, I hope you guys have been blessed by this first workshop. And again, thank you, my brother. It is now, guys, time for us to take a 5-minute break and grab you some water, take a bathroom break, and we'll see you back here in 7 minutes. 7 minutes.